Hello, everyone. This is Yeshua Said My Name. This is a quick update on Pope Francis. There's a lot of information coming out from the Vatican about Pope Francis, how he wants the world to be both economically, politically, and with the environment as well, post-pandemic. Well, I did a video a couple of days ago on Pope Francis' call for a new world order, a global reset. This is nothing new with the papacy, but this is just another update on this line of thinking from Pope Francis. Now, what I'm reading to you from is from the CatholicNewsAgency.com, and I will put a link down for you in the description section so you can peruse it yourself. Pope Francis calls for global COVID-19 recovery plan in message to World Bank and IMF. So here, let me show you that title, and as usual, I'll put a link up for you so you can look at it yourself as well. It says here, all right, Pope Francis appealed for a global coronavirus recovery plan and a message to participants in the spring meetings of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. Now, remember, in a previous video that I did, we discussed Pope Francis calling for a new world order. Well, popes have called for a new world order for decades. So that is nothing new, but this is, what I read from this article is that the Vatican and the papacy are really trying to push this global currency, okay? In a letter published by the Vatican on April the 8th, the Pope called for a comprehensive approach to rebuilding the world economy in the wake of COVID-19. Now, I did a video also not long ago about how the world powers that be, whether it's the global reset, the beast system, the New World Order, and all the branches of that are trying to make this happen, the boots on the ground, they want to use this crisis for their agendas. There's a saying, never waste a crisis. Well, this is what the global elites really feel. Don't waste a crisis. So when I read this here, the Pope called for a comprehensive approach to rebuilding the world economy in the wake of COVID-19. He said, quote, while many countries are now considering consolidating individual recovery plans, there remains an urgent need for a global plan that can create new or regenerate existing institutions, particularly those of global governance. So he's saying here, and there are key words that'll stick out when you read this, the urgent need for a global plan to create new or regenerate existing institutions, particularly those of global governance, and to help to build a new network of international relations. Quote, this necessarily means giving poorer and less developed nations an effective share in decision-making now on the international market. Now, in Revelation, we are told that eventually he, meaning the man of sin and the false prophet, will cause all, both rich and what? Poor, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So I find it interesting that when he's discussing the poor here, this necessarily means giving the poorer and less developed nations an effective share in decision-making and facilitating access to the international market. Well, how else are the poor going to have access to an international economic market unless they're eventually caused to be part of that economic global system? Think about it. How else are the poor going to have access to this global international market? That's usually for what? The elite, the rich? So when I think about Revelation 13 saying that even the poor are caused to receive this mark, to be a part of the global market, to be a part of the grid, and so on, this kind of stands out to me a little bit. The World Bank Group, founded in 1944, offers loans and grants to the governments of developing countries for capital projects. The IMF, formed in 1945, oversees the global monetary system. So the fact that the Pope is talking about this, he's furthering wanting this global economy on top of wanting a new world order. So he goes on down here, the Pope wrote, quote, in this past year, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, our world has been forced to confront a series of grave and interrelated socio-economic and ecological crises. Quote, it is my hope that your decisions will contribute to a model of recovery, talking about sustainable solutions for economy and for the environment. Now, in his encyclicals, the Laudato Si, he talks about the environment, talking about, Mother Earth and Brother Moon and Sister Sun and things like that. I mean, this is all pagan New Age terminology that the Pope is using while claiming to be a Christian. He goes to talk about here, quote, the interconnectedness between people is important, citing his recent encyclical Fratelli Tutti, which means we are all brothers. Fratelli Tutti in Latin and Italian means we are all brothers. He encouraged them to build a culture of encounter. The Pope repeated his call for the cancellation of debts in poor countries battling COVID-19, which he first made in his Easter address, Urbi et Orbi, in 2020. A spirit of global solidarity, he says, quote, also demands at the least a significant reduction in the debt burden of the poorest nations. So on the surface, this sounds good to people. Oh, focus on the poor and including the poor. How can they be included if they have no money? It's usually just the rich and the elite that can be included in this global economic system and actually profit from it. So how do we bring the poor on board into this new economic global system? Well, Revelation 13 says they will be caused to go that way, that if they want to participate on any level, even buying and selling, they'll be caused to receive what the global monetary system wants to enforce on them. He also says, he talks about this ecological debt, which is dealing with, I've gone over before, with this Pachamama worship and Mother Earth worship and things like that. So I'll put the link down for this article for you. I think you'll find it very eye-opening. He also discussed towards the bottom of the article, quote, the universal common good. And he's been associating that Fratelli Tutti and the universal common good, along with his ecumenical message of all faiths lead to the same God. Well, this is not true, that we're all, that no matter who you call God or what you believe, we're all children of the same God. This is not scriptural. This is not scriptural. So I'll put a link down for you in the description section, but this is a Catholic source. Pope Francis calls for global COVID-19 recovery plan in message to World Bank and IMF. And he taught his encyclicals are mentioned here, as well as his continued desire for a global government and a global economic plan. Hopefully later today, I plan on, because I have some other sources that I want to put together of things that are in the headline news recently prophetically, and I would like to be doing another live chat either this evening, which is Friday, or tomorrow, which would be Saturday, my time. The last live chat I did was during the day, and I know a lot of people are probably at work or it wasn't agreeable for their time zone. So I will go back to trying to do live chats more towards the early evening hours. I'll post in the community section when this live chat will be up either tonight or tomorrow, so please stay tuned for that. I have a lot of exciting topics to cover with you, hopefully. Please join into the live chat. If these videos bless you, please consider sharing them. Please consider hitting that thumbs up or leave a comment. It really does help the channel to get the word out. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your fellowship. And hopefully a live chat either this evening or tomorrow. God bless you guys.